All right. I am live, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I am not going to be on this live very long, but I want to pop on and say what's up to everybody. I just came back from, um, I just came back from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and y'all, it was a time. It was a time. It was a time. And so I'm really excited because I would love to do more meet and greets. Like I'm just in the season where I want to be outside. I want to be mingling and amongst the people. So if you want me to come to your city, drop your city in the chat and I will try to come out there. But I am most likely going to have a meet and greet next week. Next week, I'm going to be in Atlanta. Next weekend, so not this weekend, but the following weekend, I'm going to be in Atlanta for my 2 day intensive. So I'm thinking about doing a meet and greet in Atlanta, Georgia, most likely that Friday night. It would be that Friday night um, when I get in. So if you're in Georgia, right? So you don't have to be in Atlanta, but if you're in Georgia and you want me to do that meet and greet, let me know in the comments. Okay, let me know in the comments. So before I get into it, y'all, welcome to the live. This is your girl Janice, the Retail Genius, and this is a page where we talk about all things beauty supply. So let me share with y'all. This past weekend, I was in Louisiana. I was in New Orleans. I was in Baton Rouge, and I flew in. I got in on a Saturday. I drove straight to Baton Rouge to one of my clients to do a store audit and to catch up and Kiki, right? Did this store audit, guys. It was so funny. But one of the things in the store audit, one of the immediate things that I saw in the store audit was the fact that he didn't have no cameras. This is his second location. So, and I helped him open first one. So I know he knew that he needed cameras. And I was like, where the cameras at? Like this location has been open for a while, almost a year. And the second location, where's the cameras? That was the first thing. He he was like, "No, I got the cameras. I just didn't install them. I got the cameras. I got the wiring. I just installed them." I looked him dead in his face. I was like, "Listen, this is one sure way. You are literally losing money in your store because you ain't got those cameras set up." Okay. I went in there like undercover boss. And then he had a sister there was like, I've been in retail for over 20 something years. I know when people are stealing, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't know this. But my videographer, this is so funny. My videographer was literally recording everything, right? And then every once in a while, I would just feel a tug on my bag, just like random tug on my bag. So I turn around, I say, "Yo, you okay?" And he said to me, "Yo, I have been putting mad stuff in your bag." So basically, he was stealing. At the end of the store audit, I want you to dump everything out your bag on the table and reiterate to these folks why they need to have cameras. And when I tell y'all, this man was putting mad stuff in my bag. Like when I took out all the stuff from my bag, I was like, "Yo, this is how much he was stealing while we was talking." And didn't I tell you that people come in the store is usually the ones that you know that talk to you all the time? And sometimes it's people that you still think you know them and they come in with more than one person. You know, they come in with their family or something like that. And that's exactly what happened. And so I'm taking all this stuff out my bag. I'm like, this is why y'all need these cameras because he was stealing this entire time. And y'all didn't know. So y'all get y'all cameras. Make sure you are protecting your investment by getting in cameras. It does not make sense to have a beauty spot store if you're just going to allow people to come in and steal your stuff because they're going to come in and steal. I guarantee that. There's not one beauty supply store on the face of this earth where people don't come in and steal. I don't care how good you think you are and how keen and how blah, blah, blah. People come in and they steal. But I'm gonna leave the rest of the audit up to my YouTube. It's gonna be on YouTube soon. I'm cutting up the video. I'm gonna edit the video. It's gonna be on YouTube soon. This is probably the first store audit that I think I recorded. So it's gonna be really, really good for y'all to tune into that. But moving on to other things, y'all. We have a 5-day challenge that's coming up March 23rd to the 27th. This is a challenge for those of you who are at the very beginning stages of your journey and you need to figure out what the roadmap is to get your start in beauty supply and to get some traction, right? You're trying to figure out what are the steps, what is the step by step, what's the order, how should I get these things done? So I'm doing a 5-day challenge. Y'all know I don't really do these 5-day challenges that often, but I'm doing one March 23rd through the 27th because I have been talking to a lot of you. A lot of you have a little bit of issues with getting the funding and figuring that piece out. I think that the funding piece is one of the largest pieces for our people. And so this year, I've really, first of all, we are making some changes in the business. So let me just throw that out there. Some major changes are happening very, very soon. In the same token, guys, I want to focus more on the funding. Like I really want to focus more on the funding and getting you guys prepared and positioned for funding because the funding is out there, right? You just have to be positioned to be able to get the funding. And I think that's one of the biggest issues for our people is being in the position to get the funding. So this 5-day challenge is really going to be focused on getting you prepared and in position to get funding for your beauty supply store. Because if you've been following me long enough, you have a good idea of the step-by-step process because I share all of it in my free content here on YouTube. So you guys have a good idea of what that looks like, right? This challenge, we are going to deep dive into how you position yourself to get the funding. So guys, last year we were able to get 1.5 million for our clients, right? And funding for their beauty supply stores. I'm going to be pulling you guys behind the scenes, pulling back the curtain rather to show you guys what that looks like. So each day builds on the other, guys. Each day builds on the other. The first step to building a beauty supply store is always going to be that foundation. The first step to building a beauty supply store or any business, right, is always going to be foundation and you having that foundational knowledge and being able to speak the language that you need to speak in this industry. And a lot of times we think we need to speak Korean and the language that we need to speak is retail. And so understanding retailing 101 is what we do day one. We set the foundation and we allow you to step into the world of retail, not necessarily beauty supply, because I don't even want you guys thinking like that. When you come to this business, I want you guys to have the same mindset that the Asians have, which is I want to master retailing and retail business, right? I want to be a master retailer. That is the strategy and that is the mindset you have to have when you're going into it. And this is what I break down to you guys day one. The most basic of retail concepts that you have to know to be able to say that you're a retailer, right? To say that you're a retailer. Day two, we're going to be breaking down your branding. That is another key piece to being successful in this industry. You have to have a strong brand. It cannot be copy and paste of what everybody else is doing, right? Because what would be the point of that? We are here building stores because we want to create something that our community has not seen nor experienced. And that's with our beauty supply stores, right? It's going to look very different from what the community is used to. And so with that in mind, day two, I take you guys through an exercise where you are creating your brand identity so that your store, no matter how small it is, can be set apart from the competition. As y'all know, my store was 800 square feet of space. It was very, very small. And yet I felt like I had no competition because what I offered was something that was not offered to my community, period. I was the first Black-owned beauty supply store in my community. And Literally, people came out from different states to visit my beauty supply store. That's how different we were. And so you don't need to have the biggest space. You don't need to have all the product in the world to be able to compete in this industry. Okay. Because the biggest lie we have told ourselves is that this industry is oversaturated. That is the biggest lie we have told ourselves. And that's the number one way that Black people talk themselves right up out of this opportunity, is thinking that the industry is oversaturated. We have not even seen what you have in your head in terms of a beauty supply store. Okay. And so we bring that vision to life on day 2 when we create your unique brand. Okay. Next piece is understanding the business models that are under beauty supply. This is another point of understanding retailing, is understanding the different business models that exist in retailing, because it's not a one size fits all, right? Our Asian brothers and sisters and our Arab brothers and sisters, their main business strategy is having high volume, right? They have these big, huge warehouse stores where they're focused on foot traffic and they're focused on turnover and they're focused on volume, right? It's a volume play. The stores we are creating is not necessarily a volume play, right? We are here, we're trying to infuse experience, we're trying to infuse knowledge. And so it is not a volume play, right? This is us understanding that we are just not selling products, we're selling an experience. Okay. When you sell an experience, coupled with the fact that you have all of someone's favorite products in one space, right? We're giving a premium experience with a premium price point, which is a margin play, right? That's a margin play. So I break all this down, right? Because this is not probably going to make sense to most of you guys here, but I break all this down when we talk about the different business models and what makes the most sense for you and your community, right? Because that is going to be the factor, the leading key factor and indicator of which business model that makes the most sense for you and your vision and your community. What is the community missing? What void can you fill? Okay, that's day 3. Day 4, we go into legalizing this business. So now up until this point, you have understood what your branding is going to be, what your name is going to be, the slogan, all the things. Now you can, at day 4, I walk you guys through legalizing your business, setting up the correct structure, and understanding all of the different permits and licenses you need to operate a beauty supply business. Okay. It varies from state to state. So that's why you just need to come to the challenge to figure out what that looks like for you. Because I'm going to walk you guys through where to find out this information, what websites to go to. And literally we'll be working on this stuff live together. Okay. Live together. And then the last day, day 5, we are going to be wrapping everything up with focusing on the funding. So like I said, guys, the funding is the biggest part that people mess up at. And so day 5 is going to be a really important day because we're going to be building out your unique funding map. And so at the end of the challenge, literally you'll have the key components that you'll need in order to be positioned for funding. Okay. There are key things that lenders are looking for when they're looking to fund different businesses. And so the purpose of this 5-day challenge is to make sure that you guys are positioned properly for these lenders to say yes to your application and for you to finally get your beauty supply business started and off the ground. Okay, guys. So that is, in a nutshell, the breakdown of what we are going to be covering. So I'm going to drop the link in. Again, we have 2 options for tickets this year for this challenge. The first one is general admissions. So that gets you all the trainings live. It also gets you the replays. So if you're not able to make a day, do not worry because the replays are included. VIP, however, gets you an additional hour of Q&A and one-on-one coaching with me. So this is eyes on your business. You having the ability to ask questions and get your questions answered by me. and get that one-on-one coaching. So in the additional hour in the VIP room, we're going to be going over the homework. I'm going to be giving you guys feedback. You'll be sharing your ideas and things of that nature, and whatever questions you have, so that you can be able to get some level of coaching. So if you guys are anything like me, whenever I invest in any program, y'all, I'm always upgrading to the next level because I want more access to the teacher or to the coach or whoever, right? I want that extra access. I want to be able to ask my questions. I want to make sure I'm doing these things right. And so I need communication. So if that is you and you want that additional level of coaching, feedback, communication, all the things, then you definitely want to upgrade to the VIP ticket so that you can get that additional hour of Q&A coaching. All right, guys. So that is it for me tonight. It is late, y'all. I really be trying to do these late lives with y'all. I hope y'all appreciate it because I usually be sleeping at 9 p.m. Okay. I need to be sleeping by 9 p.m. So guys, I gotta go, but I will see you guys on the next live. I'm gonna be doing another live on Thursday at 9:30 p.m. God willing. And if you guys have any questions about the challenge, you can DM me on Instagram. My name is The Retail Genius on Instagram. If you have any questions, DM me over there. Otherwise, I will see you guys inside the challenge. Have a good night.